I think that's it. Hello, viewers, and greetings, fellow wow! Already off to a great start. Hello, viewers, and greetings, fellow space travelers. Wow. This is Thorn of Night, and I'll be messing up this first attempt at streaming on YouTube. This is my first stream ever. Lots of technical difficulties, lots of frustration. I hope it all goes okay. I am, with this stream, going to be playing modded Skyrim Special Edition. I have about 150 mods, and what the plan for this particular stream is going to be is that I will be going over what mods are going to be involved. I'm going to be going over the story that's behind the character that I'm going to be using, because this is going to be a sort of an attempt at fleshing out a character concept for one of my stories. I am a writer and author, and I have a couple books published, and if you're interested in looking into those, I don't know if there's a description for this here, but at the end of this, when this gets put onto my YouTube channel as a standalone video, I'll have it in the description for you guys to look at. I am working out and fleshing out the concept for a character and a broader story in one of my books, and while it's not even going to be loosely based on Skyrim, I am hoping to flesh out maybe how the character would respond to situations. And by doing that, I'm going to also be going through all of these mods. Now, the core Skyrim takes about 100. If you're really fast, you could go 30 to 40 hours, but if you want to have a more full, more completionist kind of approach at it, it takes at least 100 hours to get everything done. And even then, you'll never, I'm sure, have seen everything that there is to see in Skyrim, special edition or otherwise. And because of all these mods, it adds so much extra content that this character could possibly be actively, continuously doing things for 5 or 6 or 700 hours of gameplay. Also, on that note, I am going to be, instead of fast traveling everywhere, I am going to primarily be moving around on foot, or at least horseback, or depending on where I am, on carriage. And the reason for that is I have several mods that add extra encounters. They're turned back a little bit, but there are lots of extra encounters to have, and I want to have the opportunity to interact with them, and by fast traveling you just don't get those. So there's going to be that. Also, before I actually start playing, after I go over what mods are in here, which I suppose I could go ahead and come over to this. Let's have some music. There's the Skyrim music. Let's show the Skyrim. Hopefully that will come through. And let's bring up the mods. There are lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of mods. This is, by the way, on another character. I wanted to use this character that I've been playing on for a long time to show some of the content that there is, and you can see lots and stuff going on here, and I'm going to go over what everything in here is. But this character is, I don't know, over 400 hours of gameplay on this assembly of mods. Let's see here. No, that's not how to do it. Escape. System save? No. Load? No, none of these are showing me. I know I'm missing something. Oh, there we go. How many is that? 443 hours of gameplay as of this save here on this one character, and I'm sure I haven't even done everything. And I have added more mods since then. But anyway, I'm rambling. I'm going to be going over what mods there are, and I'm going to be giving the backstory to the character as far as its interaction with Skyrim is concerned. Now, my story may not be 100% lore friendly. It might not be exactly on the right timeline of what things happened and where they were and all that. It's just meant to fit in with this Skyrim lore and give my character a reason to be doing what they're doing and where they are. So without any further ado, let's get into the mods. Let me come over here real fast, bring this up so I can see it. There we go. First off, I have a couple dozen mods that are basically the bug fixes, patches, utilities, things like that. There's the stuff like Skyrim Script Extender 64, SSE fixes, let's see here, well, there's the unofficial Skyrim Special Edition patch, things like that. But there's also patches for individual mods like the Missives and Vigilant and Moon Path to Elsewhere and some of the other things. There is the Cutting Room Floor mod, and that adds or reintroduces content that was removed from Skyrim but is still in the files and was either originally intended to be in Skyrim or for whatever reason was cut, and there's no good reason for it to not be in there other than they just didn't include it. So Cutting Room Floor, as I understand it, just adds a whole bunch of that stuff. There are some integration patches and things like that, so I'm not going to go over all the list of patches. There are dozens of cities, towns, villages, and hamlet mods that I'm going to be visiting real quick with this character, but before I do, let me come over to some of the other stuff that is involved. As far as visuals, I didn't go overboard. I have some of the Amidian-born Book of Silence stuff, armor, creatures, Dragonborn DLC, unique items, weapons, that sort of thing. I have some book covers. As far as sounds, I have some Daedric voices like Hircine and I think another one in there somewhere that just sounded off. Noble Skyrim mod, HD 2K, and Realistic Water 2, Rustic Clothing. Let's see here, Skyrim Better Roads, that's one that is nice and subtle, but when you see it compared to the vanilla, you'll understand why I made the choice I did. Flora Overhaul, that's a good one. Talkative Dragons, that's another one for sound. The dragons that I fight are going to actually have more dialogue and chat. Static Mesh Improvement mod, things like that. And Vivid Weathers. I did have the lightning to go with the Vivid Weathers, but it was just awful, so I took it right back out. Then I have some quality of life mods. One of them is the quality world map. Let me bring up this map here and you'll see a lot going on. If I come way over here, you can see I have a lot of icons, and this is just the main Skyrim. But if you zoom in, you can see a lot more detail. The roads stand out and the water is much clearer, and you can even see some of the details. Let's see here, there's Whiterun, so let's see. Yeah, you can see some of the structures for Bleak Falls Barrow, which is right up here, and the quality world map just makes it so you can find your way. Also, it removes a lot of these extraneous clouds. It's nice to have the clouds off the edge like this, but when it's storming and all this is covered in clouds and you can't see where you're going, it was just a pain. Why have a map if you can't see it? So I have the quality world map mod. I also have the achievements mod enabler, so that as I play through, I can still get some of the achievements. And I've gotten in vanilla all the ones for just regular beating the game, and there's only a couple achievements that I haven't gotten, and they are just the extraneous stuff that I could just get anyway if I wanted to play unmodded again, but I'm already playing modded, so what's the point? I have the quest for the Blessingir quest markers, because that finding all of those and remembering which ones I have and have not gotten is a pain in the butt. So Blessingir quest markers it is. I have the Dawnguard map markers, another map one. I'm not going to go over to the Dawnguard stuff, but there is the Dawnguard map markers that helps a lot. I believe it even includes map markers for when you're in the Soul Cairn, which is nice. I have even better quest objectives. That has, for some of the quests, most of the quests that are vanilla that have changes regarding that are subtle changes, but some of them actually really do help. And the quest descriptions and the objectives for the vanilla game they leave a lot to be desired, so the better or even better quest objectives helps you identify where you need to go, what you need to do a little bit better. Doesn't apply to all the mods for obvious reasons, but many of the vanilla game mods and some other mods, the quests are wonky, so this helps. There is the Less Tedious Thieves Guild, because I don't want to have to do 125 repeatable quests over and over and over and over just to advance the quest line for the Thieves Guild. So Less Tedious Thieves Guild makes it from 125 down to just 25, much more reasonable. Modern Brawl Bug Fix. This is just in case I have to get into some brawls. There are some quests where you have to use your fists, like over in I think Markarth, when you get imprisoned, you have to fight in the prison. There is, I think there are some companion quests. There are a few instances where you have to fight and by bare hands, and I just don't want to deal with the bugs that do happen with that, so I just included it. It's rare, and I only really got that mod originally because I had the wild hair to just do fists only for a character, and I don't know if I'm going to ever pursue that, but it's in here. Also, I have the no kill moves, no kill cams, no kill bites, because there are many instances where I have just gotten slaughtered as a result of being stuck in the kill cam slow down bullet time thing, because when you get those kill moves, it just destroys your ability to do anything else. You're stuck in that animation, and anything else that's coming in during that, you can't avoid it, and if you take some lethal damage during a kill move that you could otherwise have avoided, it's very frustrating. So I disabled it. Yeah, there's some cool kill moves, but I'm not in it for the kill moves. I have Sky UI, inventory and menu restructure. Sky UI is nice because it makes it so you have a better sortable mod or arrangement of items. You can see your backpack, weapons, armor, so on and so forth, and you can sort it and arrange it by value and weight and that sort of thing. It makes it much nicer, as well as if there are books that you haven't read, they won't have these little eyes by them, so you can see at a glance if you need to read a book whether or not there's an eye next to it. So there's that helps in here. That might be in part with another mod, but I do know that without the Sky UI having the indicator, it is I think there were lots of problems with getting it to work without SkyUI, in fact. So maybe it is just part of SkyUI. I don't remember. There is the unlimited bookshelves. Now, this was originally put in. I may not even have a need to use this, but the unlimited bookshelves is included because I originally did not have Legacy of the Dragonborn or any other mods that add player homes that have huge, just sprawling piles of bookcases everywhere. I since have added several mods that kind of negate it, but it's still in here. I have a mod called Unread Books Glow. That makes it so that at a glance, little folded pieces of paper and books and things like that can just shimmer in blue or orange or red or whatever, so that you know whether or not you've read it just at a glance. You don't have to go into and touch every single book. You can say, oh, these 3 need to be read, done. And then I have waitlist books. Now, I'm not entirely sure that it's working. All of these weighted books, these may be added by mods and may not be part of the list of books that are waitlist. I'm not sure. Maybe the mod is not functioning right. I don't plan on carrying around tons of books, but I have that mod installed. It's not a huge difference for this character plan. Oh, speaking of weight, you may notice that I have my carry weight set to 10,000. That's because I was doing a whole lot of testing with this character after I did most of the gameplay, and then I just never bothered to set it back. I think my max carry weight's something like 455 or something like that. It's not nearly 10,000, so this was just for testing. Let's see here. I have also in the mods, those were the quality of life mods that I listed. I did the visuals and sounds. I did briefly did the bug fixes. I have some immersion and roleplay related ones, and I have dumped several categories into this category of immersion and roleplay because they pertain to my gameplay style that I intend to do with this character and just in general. Let's see here. Why is that like that? Let me look at something really fast. Okay. Weird, some small technical difficulties. Problem solved. Back to this, and back to this. Apologies. Now, we have, in the immersion and RP, we have, all books have perks. This was something that is for me to advance a little bit more quickly in some instances, but also because I added another mod that I wanted to catch back up with. So I just left this mod in, and it actually kind of makes the gameplay a little bit more interesting. I'm not really so much going for having all of the perks, but the pace of finding new books and having the excitement of, ooh, new perk, it's kind of nice. So I left it in. I have the alternate start live another life mod, and for this particular character, it's not going to make a hill beans of difference because it's going to be the vanilla start if it'll work right. And the reason why I say if it'll work right is because sometimes, because I have Helgen Reborn, using the vanilla start is a little iffy, but we'll see. I have Andromeda, and that changes the standing stones of Skyrim to have some slightly different and either better or at least more balanced attributes that come from using the different standing stones. I think there are 13 standing stones, something like that. I have the Apocalypse mod, which improves and adds the, I think, 150 or something, maybe even more, different spells and magic and enchantments and things like that. And it improves the overall magic interaction as well. So I may encounter some spells that are not in vanilla just as a result of that. I don't know how heavily I'm going to lean on that, but we'll see. I have, for the purposes of this character, I have Boethia for good guys, and you'll see why once I get to the background of the character. I have books, 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 and that is because I wanted to have, well, more books to read for my other game play, but also maybe there might be some fun to be had from this one as well. I have the campfire mod, and that was because I also had the I need mod, but I disabled I need because there are several mods in here that make it unreasonable to stay on top of your food and drink situation, or even your rest situation. And one of them, I think, Project AHO is bad for that. I think there's the Agent of Righteous Might or Vigilant, one of those two. There, once you get to this one area, it's just impossible to stay on top of it. You start starving and getting negative buffs and things like that. It's awful. So I took out the I need, and so at least for the present, the campfire is kind of irrelevant. I may use the campfire mod to have this character do some camping, because I do want this character to do journal entries, so to speak, at the end of every day. So I want there to be a rest period. At the very least, I'm going to have some end of day activity for this character. I have the carriage and ferry travel overhaul, which just adds and changes the fast transit situation. I have the charitable soul mod, which makes it so you can make donations of goods and money and things like that to people, and it just overall improves the good guy factor. I don't know how well it interacts with some of the other good guy mods, if there's anything like the orphanage or anything like that, but there is some benefit to doing this, but mostly it's just for RP. I wanted to be able to, not like this character that I've got here has like 3 million gold. I don't want to be a gold hog. I want this character to be sort of a charitable character, the one that I'm going to be playing. I have convenient horses, because if I'm going to be spending a lot of time on the road, I might as well have a horse, and a horse with a backpack. I have diverse dragons collection, which adds to the dragons that are encountered during the random encounters in the world, including some very unique looking skins. Some of them look rather stunning, honestly. I have diverse Skyrim SSE. I believe that mostly adds just some of the character interactions and a little bit of NPC stuff, maybe some animal interactions, things like that. But it is more of the immersion. I have the expanded carriage service, which adds a few more stops on the carriages. I have extra encounters, same thing, more immersion on the roads. I have Forgotten Dungeons and Apoaps's renamed Forgotten Dungeons. They go with each other. Forgotten Dungeons adds dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of dungeons throughout the whole map. And some of them are very short, some of them are enormous and elaborate, and they almost all have some sort of special reward at the end of it. And when you get through the dungeon, it actually feels like you've accomplished something. And the reason why I've added that is not only because it was fun for my other characters, but specifically this one has an objective, which I will get to, I promise. I have fuzz row dope, so that the NPC's mouths move to their speech when there's dialogue rather than just sitting there slack-jawed, and that doesn't always help all the time anyway, but it does help a little bit. I have the Gildergreen regrown, so when you do the Gildergreen quest, if you replant it, it will, over some number of weeks, it'll regrow until it is a fuller sized tree again, so that's nice. I have Hammett dungeon packs for special edition, and that is more dungeons in, I think, the overworld, and also on this other land called, I think, Fomenheim, maybe. I have immersive world encounters. There again, some more immersion. Imperious, I have Imperious. It is the races of Skyrim. It adds some benefits to and some attributes to selecting the different races, and gives you a reason other than just appearance for having selected them. I have missives because it seemed silly to only need to go in and talk to the innkeepers to try to get a quest from the Jarl, whereas there's supposed to be, this is a country, not just this little bitty map, and there's tons of people, and so everyone wants help with something sometimes. So these missives, these message boards, have the ability to just go up and tear off a piece of paper, say, hey, I could do this quest, and you do a little side quest. It's like a radiant quest, and you turn it into random NPC that needed it. I have, let's see here, Namira for good guys, also similar reason as Boethia for good guys. I have the, well, New Beginnings, Live Another Life, Alternate Start. That's an expansion to the Live Another Life. I have a mod called New Treasure Hunt, which adds some more buried treasure. I have the No BS AI Projectile Dodge, because it seems silly that if you had a bow and you were shooting at something way across a valley, that it just knew the nanosecond you let go of your bow that there was an arrow coming, even if it couldn't even see you, and the NPC would just dodge out of the way, just for free, just move out of the way without any knowledge that you were even there. This removes that, and I think that's a huge help. I have Ordinator, and that, I believe, is one of the more interesting ones out of the bunch, because it adds, well, I'll bring this up, tab up, skills. It drastically changes the perks system in the game, and there's some things that seem a little out of balance if you go too overboard with it, but it really is, it adds some flesh to the game, it really does. And there are some mods that, even with all the benefits of all the perks, you still have a rough time, especially if you set your difficulty up. So it's going to be interesting as I level up to see where I'm going to be putting my points, but I don't need to legendary anymore. You can see this right here, it doesn't say legendary. That's because of another mod that I will, let's see here, oh, it's here, it's the Skyrim skill uncapper. Might as well talk about that while I'm on this screen. It makes it so that you can go into the INI file and change the maximum level of skills. I've just set them all to 1,000, some arbitrarily large number, so that you can continue leveling without having to forget all the things that you knew how to do with your character just to get more points in another thing. Because I think on vanilla setup, if you were to get every single one of the skills up to 100, your character would be maxed out at something like level 71 or 72, and that is it. And so if you want to keep leveling up, you need to do what's called legendary, so you can get the ability to gain more perk levels, and the only way to level up is by gaining perk levels. So this makes it so you don't have to stop at 100. You can keep using illusion or archery or whatever, and your character can keep leveling up. It is, I believe, scaled, so it isn't going to be as easy to get the next point as it would for the previous, but it's not absurd, and it does make it a lot nicer, because it makes no sense that you're this super high level character, master of the Thieves Guild or whatever, and you suddenly just totally forgot how to pick locks. That's crazy. So I like this mod, the Skyrim Skill Uncapper. Let's see here. I have one called Point the Way, and this one adds street signs, or more street signs, to the different locations as you're walking in the world. Makes it easier to stay immersed in the world without having to jump out and go, where am I going? Let's see here. I have reading improves speech, because it does make sense. If you're going to be learning about the lore of the world by reading books, you might as well have knowledge that you can add to conversations. And it didn't make any sense to me that there was all this ability to learn from books that didn't impact your ability to speak. So I like this mod. It's staying in. We have SIG equip, or signature equipment, and that makes it so that special gear that you've got levels with you and increases in stats and skills and points of damage and all that kind of stuff as you use it. The more you use it and have it as you level up, the better it gets. So it can level up with you. If you have a favorite dagger that you get on day one, you could carry that all the way to the end of the game, and it would be getting better and better and better over time. So I like this SIG equip, signature equipment mod. I have two mods that add extensive underground stuff. The Skyrim sewers and the Skyrim underground. The Skyrim underground is, I believe, of the two, the more massive, and whichever one it is, I think it is the underground. It is so enormous that you could hop in a sewer in Riften and end up in Markarth, I believe, if you just follow the right windy path. And there's places to go that are just unique to the sewers. There's special interactions with NPCs and the mobs. There's special loot, and there's just all kinds of stuff to find down in the sewers. And that is also hopefully going to come into play during the playthrough of this character. We'll see if it presents itself organically. If it doesn't, I will have to force my way into it. Let's see here. That and the sewers mod. We have Skyrim unique treasures, as well as treasure hunter. These are similar to the new treasure hunt. They add some additional treasure maps to find better or different treasure based on the clues on the maps in the world. I don't think there's anything extraordinary with them. It's just more to do, more immersion. We have the starting spell choice, so that when you make a new character, you get to have some basic knowledge about different spells, and it's I think one of each of the main schools: alteration, restoration, wow, destruction, conjuration, illusion, illusion, conjuration, destruction, restoration, alteration. I think it's just those five. You get to have a novice level spell that you get for free, and you pick from a list when you start a new character, and I'll show you that when this gets going. I have, let's see here, the Stonehall Orphanage, and what that does is it adds, I think, the ability to have 24, I think that's the number, up to 24 orphans sent to the Stonehall Orphanage in Markarth. so that all these orphans that you may not be able to have yourself, you can say, hey, why don't you go over to this orphanage instead of living on the street? And it's I believe once you send them there, you can also adopt from there if you so choose, but it's a good place to, I guess, be the good guy and get these kids off the street. I think there's some preliminary stuff that you need to do there to set it up, so I might make that a priority for this character, just for the roleplay reasons, to go to Mark Karth and then set that up, but I may wait to do it organically during the gameplay. We'll see, maybe during the Civil War or something like that. We have the eloquent reader reading to increase speech. It's either that or the other one for the reading improves speech mod. One of those two wasn't working right, so I installed the other one, and I presume it's working. I haven't really tested it, and without having a new character to see whether or not speech is just increasing vastly compared to the rest, I won't even know. So we'll discover together. I have the notice board, and that is like the missives, and it is just another board to get some quests and some information, like some lore, in-game lore from. I have the Parthenax dilemma, and this has always bothered me. Spoiler alert, end of game, Parthenax helps you. And is, and has been, honestly, for a very long time, in charge of the Greybeards. And what the Blades situation does is it makes it so you have to kill this main NPC that has helped you defeat the ultimate bad guy and has dedicated their life to doing good. And the Blades will not let you stay with them because Parthenax is a dragon. And the whole purpose of the Blades was to serve the Dragonborn. If Dragonborn says dragon is okay, in my book, the Blades should go, okay, fine. So the Parthenax Dilemma mod solves that problem. Much nicer. Then I have this one also for immersion and roleplay, especially for this character, Winter Sun, Religion, and Prayer. And what happens, by the way, I'm up here in the Dragonborn DLC area. Ooh, that was flag. I am up on this balcony looking over from Solitude down over the world. There is the ability to pray, and I have, for this Khajiit character, I have a prayer to Rajan or something like that. I didn't bother looking, but there's this crack lock thing. So you can get special boosts to characters by picking different deities, and at first I'm not going to be all that interested in what the boosts are for the character I'm going to be playing, but this mod is in there so that I can have a little extra something for this character, whose name is Blessingir, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that at the beginning. The character Blessingir is going to be praying to Arche, and then maybe, if for good, viable roleplay reasons, if it seems like it is more viable to switch from Arche to possibly Stendarr, I may switch to Stendarr, but predominantly Blessingir is going to be an Arche worshipper. So that's the immersion in RP. All that remains are the cities, towns, and hamlets. I will do the, cities, towns, hamlets, and new lands and quests. So I'll do the new lands and quests first. One of them is Vigilant, and one of them is Agent of Righteous Might. One of these two is vastly superior to the other insofar as the amount of things to do, and The other one is honestly a little clunky. I won't tell you which. I'll just do the gameplay as I go through and let uh, let the world decide. I will try to keep my commentary on them to a dull roar and just stick to staying in character as much as possible. I will be responding to my environment, and oh, by the way, this is a Bethesda game, and so if I need to do something like unlock a door that is absolutely supposed to be unlocked, but because of some mod interaction it's not, then I will first make sure I have exhausted all other possibilities, and then, if there's nothing else I can do, I will resort to the console commands. I hope I don't have to do much of that, but I have never, ever played a playthrough of Skyrim, or honestly any Bethesda game, where I have not had to use console commands. It is awful to have to say that, but it's true. So we'll just kind of overlook that. I have, let's see here, another new land in quest mod is Beyond Skyrim Bruma. Bruma is in Cyrodiil. Cyrodiil is the province where the Oblivion game happened, and Bruma is a town, city, whatever, somewhat southeast, I think, mostly south of the main city there in Oblivion, whose name I forgot. Oops. My brain is elsewhere. I'm sure that someone knows. We have, let's see here. Oh, we have a mod called Beyond Reach. Beyond Reach is a stupendously large and full and involved and storied mod. There's a lot going on. Heavy changes to a lot of the gameplay. Different functions are changed for the different characters, or character types. There are, how am I trying to say this? There are, if you think you understand how to do a fight in Skyrim, if you go to Beyond Reach, you will find out that everything you know is absolutely wrong. You're going to have to relearn the game. It is tough. But beyond that, there are things that are broken. Not the least of which being the map is 180 degrees upside down from the way it should be. And I can actually show you this real quick. Why don't I show you this just to see? Who knows? Maybe the first time I went through it was all wrong. But let's go to Western Reach and take a look. If you go into Western Reach, you're going into High Rock and or High Rock or Hammerfell? High Rock. Yes? Yes. Anyway, you're going west of Skyrim, and if you're going west of Skyrim, then if you load up a brand new map that's to the west of Skyrim, you should show up on the east side of it. If Skyrim is to the east, and this new map is to the west, then you should show up on the east. But you don't. Oops. Instead, way over here, oh yeah, up to the north of this map, this is Hammerfell way over here. So yeah, this is Hammerfell. This is High Rock. This is Beyond Reach. You come in way over here on the west of this map. This whole map should be turned 180 degrees all the way around, but if you want to go east, you need to go on the map, you need to go west. So let's go back east to Skyrim so that we can get out of this map. There are some NPCs in Beyond Reach that including this bishop guy, that their scripting is just so broken sometimes that once you reach a certain point, you have to just use the console commands every single time. Oh, I haven't prayed in a while. Let's go ahead and pray. There we go. I am up in my favor. Let's do clear skies because I can't deal with the rain right now. There we go. Shout the rain away. Is there a guard going to come up and say, hey, would you stop doing that shouting? No? No one? Nothing? Okay. That's fine. Where's my horse? I have a horse. I promise I have a horse. Hello, horse. How are you? Let's ride. This is part of the convenient horses mod. You can dismount rapidly if you need to. Yay, I can go straight to combat. You can shoot from the back of the horse. It's all nice and dandy. Anyway, back to the mods list. We have Carved Brink. Carved Brink adds... Are you going to complain about the shouting?
I need to ask you to stop.
Too bad it won't.
Can't say I've heard of any laws against whatever that is you're doing. But I'll lock you up if I have to. I've got my eye on you.
Really? Okay. Anyway. We have the Carved Brink, and as I was saying, Carved Brink is a gorgeous mod. It is very well put together. It is, in some cases, pretty darn tough. But it is so surreal. Oh, I'm talking over the horses. That's why I didn't want to be next to the horse. That's right. I'll just stand here. It is... I'm not going to say it is entirely outside the realm of the lore, but I am going to say that it is very surreal within the confines of Skyrim. There's nothing absolutely off-putting about it. It's just, it feels a little funny, but it most certainly is very well put together. It is a great mod, and I will very likely be playing on it with this character that I'm going to be doing, with Blessingir. We have Dark End. Dark End has either no or very few quests. I think it's no quests. And it is just a zone that is based on the feel of... what's that game? Dark Souls. The mobs are tough. It is not an early game mod to interact with. I think you have to have at least beaten the vanilla game in order to get to the Dark End. So it is this big mystery that you have to solve and figure out these certain artifacts and unlock certain areas, doing different investigation puzzles. It's a great mod. It is tough, but it is well put together. It is gorgeous, and I like it. Let's see here. We have Falskar. Falskar adds a whole new land, bunches of mods, bunches of quests, and it is I believe set in an island off the northeast of Skyrim. It is isolated. Without giving too much away, it has a similar sort of storyline. There is a sort of a civil war going on there, or at least there will be. There are, as I recall, at least half an hour or more of cutscenes that are unskippable, and I understand that putting all the work into it, people are proud of their work, but some of them happen like in the middle of combat, and so you have this pacing. Oh, here we go. Let's spin around my character. You have this pacing that you're trying to do, and all of a sudden, cutscene. And then you have to get right back into the pacing, and then cutscene. And that's one of my biggest beefs about it. Beyond that, there's not much. Let's see here. Helgen Reborn is the mod where after you have done the beginning of the game, you can go back and rebuild Helgen, help them get a city back, or get a town back. There is a small point of contention that I have about it. One of the whole premises is that you have to do this pit fighting in order to earn money back for this one person, or this couple people, whatever. But by the time I did the Helgen Reborn, I had millions of gold, and the costs of doing the things for the Helgen Reborn and stuff were so minuscule compared to the money that I had. It seemed absurd to not just be able to have the option to, if you have the money, to just pay it off. I want to invest in increasing the stats of the city, so here, have some money. But no, you have to do pit fighting, and it was tedious, and that's really my only complaint about it, I think. Let's see here, we have Land of Vomenheim. It doesn't really have quests, but it has lots of dungeons to go visit, as I recall, including a bunch of the Hammett dungeons. We have Legacy of the Dragonborn. That is the big mod on here. That is basically the key pivotal thing that everything around this whole other concept surrounds. We have the ability to not only collect all these wonderful rare artifacts and store them in a museum that you're park curator for, but also there is a very well put together quest line. There are some wonderful NPCs, all voiced. There's just so much going on with the Legacy of Dragonborn that it's not just a mod, it's not just DLC, it's an entire game that they just threw into Skyrim, and it is in many cases bigger than Skyrim and all of its vanilla DLC, in my opinion. It is a wonderful mod, and we will be looking at it a lot. There is Moon and Star. This adds a nod to the Morrowind content, I believe, and there is a town that is added as a result of this mod that I will not be visiting during my show of the different towns that are just the cities and all that. It is over here. It is Little Vivec. Vivec, for those who are unaware, was the capital city in Morrowind, and the quest line that surrounds Little Vivec will eventually have you come over and encounter someone very special in... is it Mzulft? It might be Mzulft. It's somewhere over here. Kekrinzel? No. Somewhere over here there is a dungeon that ties into that you'll be visiting, or that we'll be visiting, as a result of doing the Little Vivec quests. Let's see here. We have Project AHO. Project AHO, after you get to level 15 and you go anywhere near, oh, where is it? Is this Mixwater Mill? You get kidnapped by this orc, and you cannot leave. Project AHO, which will take you to Sageruth Kagran, whatever. And you'll be trapped in there as a slave, incapable of even escaping at all if you go anywhere near makes water mill after you reach level 15. Doesn't matter if you have good stats or not. If you get level 15, you are abducted. So I may make it a point to get over in that area just to get the Sage's Kagran stuff out of the way. We will see. I have, let's see here, Moonpath to Elsewhere. Moonpath to Elsewhere adds over in, let's see here, the area of, oh, where am I? Is it Falkreath? Falkreath. Over in the area of Falkreath, there is a caravan that will take you to Elsewhere, and you get to do some quests with the Khajiit, and there are different kinds of Khajiit that you get to interact with. It's a really neat, but in my opinion, brief quest line. It's good. It feels like it's over too fast. Maybe that was because I was on a kick of doing much larger mods like Project AHO and the Great Cowl Nocturnal, whatever. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's right there. I was doing some larger mods before I did the Moonpath to Elsewhere, so maybe Moonpath to Elsewhere is big. It's just not as big as some of the other ones that I had done at the time. Let's see here. We have Shadows of the Past. Shadows of the Past is it's a little bit frustrating, especially the main NPC you deal with, and it's supposed to be a reference to some of the stuff that goes on in Oblivion, families, characters from Oblivion, that sort of thing, as a sort of a tie-in. And I was hoping that it was going to be this big, vast thing. Not even close. I'm still including it. It's still something to do, and it sort of makes sense for this character that I'm on to be searching with this stuff. So I have it in here, but I'm not going to say that it's an enjoyable quest line. It's okay. It's just there are others that I would rather do. There is the Forgotten City. Forgotten City is, I think, let's see here. Oh, it's way over here. There is, Forgotten Ruins. Is that it? Yeah, it's got to be the Forgotten Ruins. You go in here, and then there is a quest where you do not kill. You cannot get caught. You can't steal. You can't commit anything that seems like a crime, or everyone dies. There are different endings, and there is a full set of armor that I may try to figure out how to get all of it, but we'll see. I'm probably, for this character, I'm going to just do the thing that makes the most sense for the character. Albeit my character is a bit naive, but I'm going to do the things that make the most sense. Let's see here. We've got Forgotten Island. That adds a new land that you can access, I think, from there. It's either a boat here or it might be from Dawnstar. There is a boat that takes you to the quest area for the Forgotten Island, and I don't remember if the Forgotten Island has a name. For all I know, it might be Raven Rock. I don't think so, though. No, Raven Rock. No, Raven Rock is okay. Never mind. Something else. It's short. It's a neat place to visit, but it's short. We have the Great Cowl of Nocturnal, and the Great Cowl of Nocturnal is a wonderful nod to the artifact run, or worn by the what is the term for the person that's in charge of the Nightingales? I can't remember. It's been a while. Basically, the thieves' deity that isn't nocturnal, the demigod, whatever, has this cowl, and it is the symbol, basically, of the inner circle there. And the Great Cowl of Nocturnal mod gives you the opportunity to, after a huge and very well put together quest line, to find this cowl and eventually wear it. It's really nice. We have the last refuge in the Valley of Outcasts, and I list those together because they go sort of hand in hand. And this adds, I will say, a unique experience with doing a sort of a town build to get some people on their feet again. And some of it is a bit confusing, some of it might need repairs. I don't know. Maybe this update that I got has repaired some of the things that were busted. We'll see. But I do remember that I had to do some console commands for that mod. We have the Tools of Kagranak, which adds some specific artifacts to the game related to Kagranak. Not a whole lot going on with it, but it is a neat quest line. We have Worm's Tooth, and that is, I believe, once you go to Worm's Tooth, you are stuck there until you defeat this dragon, and then you can go back and forth whenever you like. So once you start the Worm's Tooth stuff, and I don't remember what starts it, I'll have to look that up. But once you start it, you're kind of committed. It's not impossible, but this dragon is trying to raise an army of the undead, and you have to stop it. And there's I believe a rather lengthy dungeon in it that is rather neat to go through, but beyond that, it's just your typical almost DLC kind of mod. It's good. It doesn't stand out either overly good or overly bad for me, other than the fact that I seem to recall there was a single really good dungeon in it, I think. But those are the major new lands and quests mods that I have included. Finally, and I'm not going to be going to visit all of them, but I will at least stop in and show. Let's see here. Everyone is familiar with, there we go, with Whiterun. Let's go to Whiterun. And there are several mods that add to the visualizations, not just the trees and the flora and the roads and things like that. There is one mod group, JK's Skyrim, which there's even more that I haven't added, that adds to the interiors of palaces. JK Skyrim and a few others add a lot of really nice aesthetics to the cities and towns. For instance,
You're someone who can get things done.
Here.
I like that.
Yes, hi. The roads are nice. I can visit the sewer. That's because of one of the other mods, the sewer or the underground. I don't remember what all there is. I don't think this ramp is in the vanilla game. Maybe it is. I don't know. Everything is so... No, it couldn't be. Everything is so seamless and fluid and looks like it belongs so nicely that, like the cages around these, that you wouldn't expect that they aren't actually part of the game. Oh, here's the missive or the notice board. Hi. This is either the notice board or the missives. And
Well met,
then
traveler.
whichever one that is. This is the notice board, and that's the missives. And you can just go into the notice board and read some things, pick up some quests. I'm not going to right now. There's bounties, and please bring me 10 of this, and go explore this, go rescue this, whatever. Go gather these things. So it's simple or hard, depending on what quest you pick up. Let's see here. Slay the beast, just get something. Rescue a citizen, that one may be tougher. Investigation, investigate 2 citizens who are disappeared. Should probably say who have disappeared. And this takes you to one place and then another, and then I think one of them's dead or both of them are dead sometimes. Then you go find out, you go back to this town and say, hey, I rescued them, or they were dead, whatever. Let's see here. Resources, yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary. Looking for armor. For a non-enchanted armor set. So you have to fight things or buy things until you get a set of a specific kind of armor and that sort of thing. That's just an example of some of the quests that you can find in the notice board, and also the missives are very similar.
Alfred, patron of the...
Deliver potions, gather ice wraith, letter to Windhelm. Some of them are deliver letters, like your mail delivery person. Some of them are just harvesting, whatever.
A clan battle poem.
Stories, you can get some stories.
You know well.
Sorry, I don't mean to talk over him. You can get some mini stories coming from the notice board, but the missives is, I think, primarily just quests. We have, I'll come over here so I'm less likely to get chatted at. We have those improvements to many or all, I think, of the major towns and even some of the minor towns. Like the cemetery at Falkreath is more fleshed out and all that. But there's also just whole new towns that have been added. For instance, if I go over here towards Mizulft, there's a place called Keldnar, and it just adds a town. And there aren't any quests associated with it. There are occasionally some NPCs that are vendors, but more often than not, many of these towns that I've added... Ah! Well, I didn't need to do anything. Hello, vampire. I'll take this. Why not?
Ugh. Intending to your hounds? I smell like a wet dog.
That was unexpected. Sorry about all the noise. I know it's an asham, but it looks like a big radish. So this is Keldnar, a little town that really isn't supposed to be here, but it's added by a mod. It's just a little extra place to visit, and that's really what I was going for. Tilver's Arms.
Yes. Hi there.
Which building is Tilver's Arms? Is it this one? No? Maybe? Sorry, I am... Oh, the door was right here. Of course it was. But, yeah, I have... Let's pause that so Dragon doesn't come in. I have Apatoya, Battersea. Oh, Blackthorn is a town that you can build over time by bringing them resources and things like that. So it's got all the shops, and you can have a player home there. Some of these other things do add player homes as expansions. There is Darkwater Crossing. There is Dawnstar that adds stuff to the Dawnstar, just like Falkreath. There's Dragon Bridge, but there's also Dragon Bridge Southside, adds an expansion to Dragon Bridge across the bridge. There's Ebonvale, another town sort of between Riverwood and Whiterun that also has a player home with a neat little quest to go with it. There's expansions of clutter and things to Falkreath. There's a town called Gavrosted. There's Hafingar Expanded, and Hafingar Expanded adds 6 different places, including some lumber camps and a quarry, and they're just little places to visit. Like, for instance, let's go visit one. Oh, now, actually, do I need to pray? Let's go. That is not praying. Can I? Thank you. All right. Stand back up. He's going to try to tell me not to do that. I will come all the way over here. Oh, this map is so huge. It's so huge, but it's so small. No. Glade, Liar's Retreat. It's somewhere over here. Not remember the name of it. Let's see here, there's Ingvar's lumber camp, and then there was, is that it? No, that's not it. There was another camp. Ah, there it is. Let's go to Knut's or Knuts or Nuts or Newts, whatever, lumber camp. And because I have 150 mods, oh right. Yeah, Bandit Outlaw. No. Just you? Just you. Get my arrow back. Oh, I hear you. This is it. This is the extent of the lumber camp. Some wood. Little thing here. An axe. Saw. 2 empty tents. A couple of barrels. I think they're empty. Yeah, empty, and no interaction. So, oh, that thing up there, oh I forgot, I can't zoom because I legendaried. That thing is, spoiler alert, one of the results of doing Project AHO depending on the route you take with it. But yeah, this is one of the things that's added by the Hafingar Expanded. It's not a lot, it's just little details that you can stumble across. Hellarkin or Hellarchin, whatever, Creek, Iverstead, all the JK Skyrim stuff, Karthwasten, Keldnar, Kynes Grove. There's one called Man Knows Borders, and I believe I can remember one over on the way to Riverwood, like Ilinata Tower, yes. It just adds some local guard towers and some border control to the different little areas, the different, or like I forget, they're not provinces, they're, yep, the word's gone. Like the Rift and, oh, I've not prayed in a while, but the Rift, Reach, Hafingar, all those little subsets of areas. Don't have to pray along. but it adds some towers. Just some guard towers.
You have vanquished a great evil from Skyrim. You have saved this land and our very souls.
Yes, thank you. Some of them are more impressive than this, but most of them are just little small details. Nothing huge. Let's see here. There are northern towns, which adds 2 towns, Port Amon and Waystone, or Wystone. There's Oakwood. There was another one that I added that is incompatible with Oakwood, so it was a nice town to have, but because of the incompatibility, I just had to get rid of it. There's Overstead, there's River Rock, Rorikstead, Settlements Expanded Special Edition that adds just some more stuff, like more graves at fall crates and more vegetation and crops in different places. There's Shorestone, there's Soljun, Sinkhole, there's to Skyrim Riverwood, which adds a bit more stuff to Riverwood. There's Telengard, and there's Winterhold Restored. And that one I've just recently added because there was an update and it fixes some of the conflicts with JK Skyrim's stuff at Winterhold. So that is the list of mods. There's nothing that I've added to hugely change the way the game plays. I am not going to be diving into really in-depth gameplay. This is more just a role-play kind of pursuit. And so now I'm going to go ahead and give you the story of the main character, but before I do that, let me get somewhere safe that isn't going to be having dragons interrupt. I want to sort of have the music of the game going in the background. So let's just go up to Solitude, to the Dragonborn Museum. Is this going to be locked? Well, first off, do I need to pray? 82.5, okay. You can get your favor up and it gives you... Yep. There's something I'm supposed to disable. See, I did all or nearly all the Dragonborn, Legacy of the Dragonborn content, and then I updated it. And so, because I updated it after I had done the starting quests, this remains locked. So I have to do this. I had to select the door, unlock. There. I forgot to select it before. That's what all that was. So there we go. Now I can go back in. There's supposed to be some sort of piece of paper that says on the main archway that I select and say disable, but I don't know what the main archway is. I don't see what is the main archway. Nothing there.
Oh my, that's beautiful.
I don't know.
Amazing. Simply amazing.
Yes, thank you. I don't know what the main archway is, so that won't be a problem during the, well, hopefully it won't be a problem during the playthrough of Blessingir, but we'll find out. We'll find out together. So let's go stand on the balcony and enjoy the view over Solitude. Now, I was going to just have the view playing, but I feel that if I'm going to be reading a backstory for this character, well, let's just wait. Well, it doesn't need to be morning. Then, instead of having extra closed captions or anything like that, I might as well include the text that I'm reading. So I'm going to switch out of here, and I am going to bring up the body of the text. So before I start reading, let me give a little preamble here. It's going to be about a half an hour or so of reading, so if that bores you, I'm sorry. But this is the backstory and the reason for this character, so I want to include it in this, what is effectively episode 0 of my playthrough live streaming. The main premise is that the character has had a family that has been through some hardships, and also there is a historical artifact that is missing from the family. And as a result of the hardships, the main character, whose name is Blessingir, well, last name is Blessingir, has decided to pursue a future in Skyrim because, well, that's where one of the most likely places, if not the most likely place, is for finding this missing, long lost family relic. And there is no actual item in the game matching this, so this is going to be ideally an endless pursuit. So I'm just going to use it as it's his objective. He'll keep searching. Now, just in case, after I finish reading this, I'm going to try to play for the first day. But just in case, on the off chance that the Helgen Reborn messes up the alternate start thing, I will be loading from a previously played save for testing the some of the mods with the premise of the character, and I will just pick up where I left off. I think I left off at the end of my second day there. Hopefully, I will be able to just go with a brand new character as is, insert myself into the game, and play as normal. But just in case, I have already written the story, or the journal entry, for the first day of gameplay. So if it doesn't go exactly as I read it, I'm sorry. If there's something wrong with trying to start it with the Helgen Reborn, some sort of mod conflict, and we have to skip the whole first day, I am sorry for that too, but we will just pick up next time where I've left off with the character there. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up the text for the story, and I will just read it to you from the screen. You can read along, or you can just tune me out and listen, whatever. I will do this, turn that off, and then turn this off. There we go. It is just a text document inside of OpenOffice Writer. There's nothing fancy going on. I don't have the scrolling that I'm going to do. Is just going to be my mouse, so it's going to be jerky up and down like that. I apologize, but I figure I might as well have the story on screen so it can be read along. So without any further ado, here goes the next half hour or so of reading. Let me take a quick little sip here. Apologize for any mouth noises. This is my first stream. There's probably whole bunches of things going wrong. I'm surprised, honestly, that the cats have not made an appearance in the background that has made me need to get up and find out what they're doing. So maybe they're too quiet. Anyway, this is the journal of Atham Blessingir III, first of last seed, 4th era 201. I, Aethon Blessingir III, son of Aethon Blessingir II and Shannon Blessingir, brother of Matted Blessingir and friend of many, have decided to begin marking the days of my journey as a means to make sense of all that I have encountered and will yet encounter. I should have begun this long ago, but was either too bitter or numb to consider doing it. However, if someone ever does care to know why I have done and am doing what I'm doing, I want the record to be clear. My father, named after his own father, was slain by those 9 times accursed Thalmor when they slaughtered everyone in the mine he was guarding on suspicion of one of them worshipping Talos. And yes, I say 9 times accursed because despite what those uncaring Murs say, if the other 8 accept him into their ranks and he offers blessings to his followers from beside them in the heavens, which he does, then that should be enough reason for everyone to see that he belongs at their side as one of the divines. I forgot to add that. Sorry. As it so happens, those pointy-eared bastards had staked out the wrong mine. We were on the eastern border of High Rock, just north of Wayrest, and he had been hired by a local foreman to safeguard the mine, which had some tools stolen by some bandits. He had been working there for about 7 months when a bunch of those, what did the Dark Elves call them? Nobas, Ninos, Inwas, that's the word. A bunch of those Inwas came from Wayrest and started asking around about a man and his wife who were suspected of being Talos sympathizers. My father, while he had been married until my mother passed while bringing my little sister into the world when I was but 2, had chosen to remain loyal to her for the rest of his too short life. And as it so happened, because he saw nothing but the compassion of Mara in my mother, it was Mara to whom he had pledged his heart alongside Ma. And until his dying day, Mara was the spark that shone in his eyes and what drove him to help anyone he could. I learned a lot from that man, but what struck the most was the tradition of our family and the unquenchable drive to see that everyone I meet is treated with honor and respect that all are due. I was taught to offer my hand, my sword, and most importantly, my shield to anyone in need. And it was the shield that meant the most. My hand I shall extend to offer aid. My sword I shall raise to smite those with evil in their hearts. And my shield I shall bear to defend the world from the tyranny of death. While I've never actually had to kill a man before, even all these years later, I feel that if there was a need, I hope I could perform my duty. Not long after my 7th year, but before my sister turned 5, those rotten Thalmor came and, on bad information, raided the very mine my father guarded. This was within a few weeks of something I later learned to be called the White Gold Concordant. They killed every soul. Their bodies were torn by Atronachs, burned by magic, and had their throats cut by those cowardly pale demons. They say they are superior, but I know paupers who are more man than they. Meanwhile, in a completely different mine, the loving couple were already fleeing, making their way to the heat of Hammerfall. I hope they made it and are happily living their lives today. When the dust had settled on that oppressive day, it was I who had the misfortune of discovering the cave. When I went to visit Da while I was out playing with a friend. I didn't see people in particular, but I just knew something was wrong as I approached, like a ghostly voice warding my young self away. I ran back to the village and raised the alarm to the guards who, having become good friends of my father, came without hesitation. We arrived back at the cave with the speed of an enraged saber cat, and despite the guards trying to keep me at a distance, I had to find my hero. That voice in my mind, while once again attempting to keep me at bay, could do nothing of the sort. I pushed past the guards, now muttering at the unhinged doors to the mine. Almost immediately I stumbled and fell over two armored Thalmor who were now with their ancestors. Further into the entrance, after regaining my feet, I raced past first one, then two more of the monsters, one in robes. Then, after arriving at the full ingress to the business part of the mine, I found him. My father lay defeated, still clutching his sword, which he had driven through two of the elves at once. I screamed for help, looking around the chamber for anyone to respond, but the only responses I got were the silence of the dead, the whooshes of water and wind from the cave, and the clanking of armor as the town guards finally caught up. I screamed and sobbed over my motionless father, entreating him to stand and walk me home, but it would never happen again. I am unsure if any of the Thalmor survived their attack, but I am certain no one else did. I was all but carried back to the village where now my silence had set in. I barely registered when my sister appeared, in hand, trailing behind a neighbor's mother. When she was seated next to me, a guard tried to explain to her that Da would not be coming back. She barely understood enough to begin crying and screaming at me. The rest of the day was a fog. For the next month, until our uncle and his wife could come fetch us to live with him in the shadow of the icon of evil that caused my father to die, the white gold tower, I remembered nothing. Not the passage of time, not the consoling of the elders, not the distance of friends whose families had also been struck to the ground in the same attack. I simply existed, only eating when forced. I think the only things which kept me alive were the compassion of Mara, no doubt blanketing me from my mother, who now wept over her young, and the comfort of Arkay, who had now taken charge of my father's soul. I do remember that each day at the Hall of the Dead I would weep and beg the statue of Arkay to let me talk with him again. I heard nothing, but I kept trying. Eventually, we were gathered by our family from Cyrodiil and transported to a village near Kvatch, where our uncle ran a market, selling toys and dolls made by our aunt. Upon arriving in the province, I and my sister were hypnotized by the white gold tower at its center, a spire surrounded by an elaborately designed city, opulent, glittering, and inspiring. At that time, its significance had not yet percolated far enough to really attach its fresh meaning to the new reign of terror that was the Thalmor. My father's brother and his wife had no children of their own, which is part of the reason they chose to bring the joy of toys to those who could have them. The gods had deemed that they bear no young, but they did as good as any parent in raising Matty and me while they could. They became as loving and caring of parents as our father had been, and raised us with similar values. And although I never learned much about Uncle's past, I did learn that he was not a guard because apparently someone shot his knee with an arrow. I guess that was why he sat at his stall all the time. Now, I know the truth of the matter, and that the arrow was a wedding to my aunt. We stayed with them through our youth and into our early adulthood, until one day when we went to the capital city to get some imported fruits for some pies. It was to be for our uncle's birthday. We stayed in the city for a few days before we returned home. We could see, long before we got back, that something was wrong. Several villages, and even distant Kvatch itself, had columns of angry black and burgundy smoke rising toward the sky. What had happened was already over. We approached, to the panicked screams and entreating for help by our friends and neighbors, who were much fewer in number than when we had left. Our first interest, though, was the cinder that had been our home. Nothing remained, not even bones. Led by an entourage of Thalmor, a detachment of Imperials had systematically locked people suspected of Talos worship into their homes and burned them alive. While it was true that our family was tolerant of Talos, in all the years we were there, no mention of his worship had ever been uttered. It was the same horror we had escaped years before, unfolding to our newer, more observant eyes. I tried to support my now silent sister however I could, but my hand was also needed with the rest of the people in the village. Looking back, I think that splitting my attention between the town and my sister is what finally drove her off. I could not be there solely for her, so one day, while I was helping a nearby village, she just left. It took years for me to learn that she had joined with a group of aiding some Khajiit traders. She had become addicted to skooma and eventually left the caravan to hole up with some bandits. In aiding the survivors and trying to keep food in my stomach, I lost track of Matid for a few years, only to get a message a few months ago that her whereabouts were known and that she was unwell, having caught rock joint and not taking to the treatment. I never learned who informed me, but I am grateful for the uncountably many friends I had made in all walks of life that made the news possible. I dropped everything to be with her. 10th of last seed. It took some begging and bartering, and more than a few helpings of humility around friends, but within a week I was with my dear sister, holding her hand in her fevered sleep. I fed her spoons of broth and mopped her brow. I sang to her and told her of all the things she had missed and all the friends who missed her. Her frail, shrunken form periodically gasped and retched. She would often sputter the soup back at me as she swallowed, not aware I was there at all. But it was my only purpose to nurse her back to health. None of what I did, though, worked. None of my prayers were answered. The bandits, whom she had called kin of late, looked on in somber silence as she slowly faded. On her final minute, she inhaled sharply. Without opening her eyes, she wailed, "Atham, I don't understand. Where's Da?" Then, after sobbing once, she passed into the long embrace of death. Stunned and still grasping her lifeless hand, I wept. The people with whom she had been living, I soon learned, were helping to supply a rebellion just to the north in the frozen lands of Skyrim. The Thalmor and their imperial lackeys had taken their spite and hatred to the rest of Tamriel, spreading their death as they went. Those stalwart Nords were fighting back. Under the banner of one Ulfric Stormcloak, they had begun organizing their resistance. The Stormcloaks, as they were called, were gathering momentum. I was immediately enthralled by the opportunity to defend these people from the plague of the Thalmor, but beyond that I remembered one of the stories told by my father and my uncle of a precious family heirloom that had been lost to the ice of the north. Somewhere in the waste, or that waste of a province, the weapon known simply as Blessingir was lost to the ages almost 1,000 years before. I never knew if it was actually lost or simply stolen, but there it rests. I assembled a ceremony to bury and honor my dear sweet Matid, and these rebels added their memories, stories, and blessings. She had touched each of their hearts in ways they would never forget. Even now, she was a force for good. My final act at her funeral was an oath to RK. Too much death had followed our family. I swore that with his guidance, I would stop the evil and death that was spreading across the world. I would strive to find Blessingir and bring it into the sun to gleam like it had in the tales told to me before bed. I don't know exactly how it looked or where it was, but I swore on that day that I would ceaselessly search it out and use it to end the hate wherever I found it. I spent all night, all the rest of my money, and traded all my worldly possessions down to the rags on my back to sneak past the border control of the Imperials. I am taking this brief pause to try and get in the habit of using this journal. Soon I will be getting transported north. It may take up to a week, but I'm sure I can find ways to help those in need right here in the meantime. 14th of last seed. Tomorrow at dawn we will break through the border into Skyrim. We will be on foot, and since we're not part of the group transporting goods, we'll be first, but traveling light. If we are ambushed, which I've been told is likely, we'll be able to scatter like skeevers in a sewer. I hope it is uneventful, but I have cause to believe we'll be under Imperial scrutiny. I write this now as proof of my suspicion. I think that among our numbers is Ulfric Stormcloak himself. I overheard some of the other men in blue call him my Jarl in hushed tones, and the acoustics of this convoluted cave, Serpent's Tail, have carried other words to my ears. They have overseen the acquisition and distribution of goods here in preparation for a coming assault that might turn the tides of this civil war. What this means is that if there is even the slightest chance a spy resides amongst us, we will be in the clutches of the Imperial dogs before we can all flee to safety. I have prayed for the safe transit of all of us, and have gone to many of the people huddled along the walls of the cave to offer prayers with them in preparation for tomorrow. I even went out of my way to offer prayers with these Stormcloaks, even being accepted by the one I expect to be Ulfric himself. After the prayer, he even responded with, "May Talos guide you, friend." I must now rest. 17th of last seed. Dear reader, whomever you may end up being, let me make something clear from my warm bed at the Sleeping Giant Inn in the town of Riverwood. Regardless of whether RK had actually been listening to my prayers, I am now convinced that Akatosh certainly was. The day started early, as I knew it would. We ate filling but uncomplicated breakfasts, which mostly consisted of breads and cheeses, with a little wine to warm the bones. While it was relatively warm in the caves, the Gerald Mountains were bitter cold throughout the year, and today was no exception. The first of the scouts, who I now suspect of having been spies, which seemed to have infiltrated our group, reported that everything looked clear. We were to leave in clusters, allowing those ahead a chance to flee before having too many of our numbers in the open. Ulfric, whom we confirmed the man really was, and some of his men, were to be in the lead group, since the idea was that if they did capture him, any of the others would be inconsequential and therefore might be ignored. I elected to accompany him and his men to Windhelm in that first group. While I may not be a Nord, I still feel a kinship against the intolerance brought on by the White Gold Concordat and its banning of Talos worship. Our group met at the mouth of the cave, well concealed by the terrain. With an unspoken signal, Ulfric was the first into the white of the ice and snow, followed closely by many of his men. The wind was up, and the loose snow was dashing about in sweeping streaks that obscured the blues and grays of the sky. The howl of a wolf was barely audible somewhere in the distance. I stayed back from the first of the group, intent on moving left to put some distance between us in case a skirmish ensued. As luck would have it, no one awaited our arrival, and now I suppose I owe some apologies to those whom I suspected as being skeevers out for blood. We tarried not and pushed hard to the east into the rift, hoping to make our way to the stone city of Windhelm. The trek through the mountains, particularly past the one they call the Throat of the World, was inspiring. I've lived in the shadow of the spire of the White Gold Tower all my life, but I had never seen nature itself raise a monument all on its own, and there I was, a measly little Breton inching past a mountain as old as time. We pushed further east after stepping out of the snow and ice, but the journey pressed onward. I was glad to be out of the blinding white of the mountains, and the warmer air eased some of the soreness from the long and fast-paced walk. Many of those who had come through the cave were trailing varying distances behind, while some went their own ways to either pursue their own lives or to rejoin our group by some other means. Eventually, after hiking down into a valley so deep my ears crackled and popped with every step, we were in the home stretch when a storm blew in, bearing a suddenness and force that it was taken as an ill portent. The mutterings between those all around me all shared the common threads about watching our backs. My own mutterings were prayers for safe passage for us and our group. After a halt was called to send a scout ahead, we continued our march to the safety and security of Windhelm. We made it no more than a few hundred feet through the dark water crossing when it happened. Flashes of green, blue, and red erupting haze of the stormy mist. Screams and yells could be heard from all directions. To prevent anyone else from exposing themselves behind us, I shouted at the top of my lungs a long, clear ambush! I was rewarded for this by a knock to the back of the head. The next thing I knew, I was groggily coming to terms with the fact that I was in a transport cart, bound and surrounded by mostly familiar faces, with the exception of one man who looked confused and angered. I tested my bonds and found them adequate to their task. I learned that my blackout had lasted almost 2 days, and my body felt every minute of it. Putting the effort against my restraints aside, I observed as Ralof, one of Ulfric's men, spoke with the other prisoner. The man was a thief of some sort, fleeing his past deeds, and was captured before he could get away from Skyrim. Ulfric had been gagged by our captors because it was said, in quiet conversations in the cave, that he had the power to kill people with his words in some sort of magic like some of the more powerful people from centuries past. It soon became clear as we approached a town called Helgen that since we were all in the group with Ulfric, this was to be our final cart ride, ever. We reached our destination, and the thief tried to flee on foot, but was shot in the back by the cowardly Imperials. I said a short prayer for him before I was called to the record keeper. It seemed that even he didn't understand why I was to be executed, since I was not one of the Stormcloaks. The guilt by association, however, made it so that orders were more important to them than justice. In fact, it seemed that they were going out of their way to prevent justice by completely refusing a trial for Ulfric by simply having him quietly executed. The glory of being an Imperial soldier was clear. I was put second in line and had to watch as one of the men with whom I'd eaten and talked mere hours before, mere hours before in my perspective, had his head lopped unceremoniously from his body, propelling him into his afterlife in Sovngarde. He had rejected a prayer from one of the priests of Archay in favor of getting this foul deed finished with haste. A strange sound filled the air at several points during the proceedings, causing a stir but not slowing the inevitable march of injustice. I was made to kneel and place my head over a basket which already held one too many heads for what this mockery of a trial rewarded. Then, as the executioner reared back with his axe, the impossible happened. The image of Akatosh himself, a dragon, in all of its terrifying presence, stunned the crowd and summoned hellfire from the sky. I swear I heard it speak, but I could not tell you what was being said. Taking the chance to get out of harm's way, I followed Ralof into a sturdier stone building. By dodging behind cover and running as fast as I could, we both made it underground, where my bindings were released. I was told to arm myself in case there was a need. I dreaded the idea of taking a life, but if it was a chance to put me between death and someone else, or even between death and myself, I had to rise to the occasion. For what good was my oath on my sister's grave if I couldn't or wouldn't uphold it? We found ourselves trapped in a smallish chamber being approached by Imperials. They entered, and my choice was made for me. I had to either defend myself and my friend, or die on the cold stone as the town burned and shuddered around us. I took my first life. The man whose name I did not know surely had a family, if not one of his own, then at the very least parents and maybe even siblings. An absence would be felt at some table somewhere as a result of my being alive, an absence I knew all too well at this point. I could not tarry long, for the destruction continued, so I made a note to say a prayer and make an offering when this was all over. For the time, though, we fled further down into a connecting cave that was accessible from within the bottom of the fortress. Deeper into the cave, there was more resistance, as Imperials did their duty by killing anyone not wearing red. The bastards. I had to take 2 more lives in that cavern, and I'm ashamed to admit that it became almost simple on the 3rd one. My prayers would be troubled but heartfelt tonight. In an attempt not to be attacked on sight, I did what was until then almost unthinkable to me. I donned the armor of one of the now dead Imperials. I muttered a small prayer of thanks, but felt no remorse for taking his items. While I honor the dead and the possessions they bear, in this one case I felt like my need was greater than his. We finally escaped that cave, leaving the rest to get out, if they had not already, on their own. The sky was clear and the sun bright, while the air was much warmer up in than up in the mountains. I found myself wondering if any more of the groups made it to safety, worrying about all those faces I had barely come to know. A great bellow issued from the sky, causing me and Rayloff to look up in time to watch the unlikely creature that caused all that mayhem fly north into the belly of Skyrim. Such was how my day started. Rayloff and I walked carefully along a road toward a place called Riverwood. On the way, he showed me a series of stones that, once I interacted with them, I felt a rush of confidence and emotion well within me. They had the markings of shrines, but I didn't feel the sort of blessings one feels when praying at a proper place of worship. We continued into this foreign land, about which I knew virtually nothing. Upon arriving at Riverwood, we met with family Rayloff had there, and told of the trials of the morning. Gerder, who works the lumber mill there, and her husband, Hod, listened with concern and trepidation, offering us some much-needed rest and supplies. Riverwood was a modest town built of wood and fellowship. Everyone seemed to know and care for each other, making the place almost seem more of a family than a town. It felt safe. Gerder, however, made a point when she said others needed to be warned. Without knowing the terrain and with a dragon flying across the sky, however, I knew finding my way to the local ruler, Jarl by the name of Balgruf, would be impossible for me during the dark of night, so I would remain until dawn. I spoke with some of the other folk in town, and learned of a burial site on a nearby mountain called Bleak Falls Barrow. Apparently, the owners of the Riverwood trader had something stolen by bandits taking refuge there. I offered to help them retrieve their lost item, a golden claw of some sort, but that again would have to wait. I bade Lucan and Camilla, Valerius, the store's owners, a farewell to prepare for the night. So that I might get enough rest to tackle the journey to Whiterun and talk with the Jarl. While I was glad to have been offered a place to sleep with Rayloff's kin. I felt that if something were to happen to their family as a result of my getting found in their house, I could not bear that on my conscience. I found the local inn, a place called the Sleeping Giant, and found some notices posted by various people in need. I spotted one that really resonated with me regarding a stolen weapon of some sort. Because it and some other requests for aid, between it and some other requests for aid, with ridding the world of some monsters and seeing about clearing out some bandits, I could see that I would never be short of work if I needed it. On top of that, I might find some clues toward the revelation of my family heirloom in the process. There were other requests for supplies and goods, but I am neither a farmer nor a miner, and these seemed better suited for someone else. Inside the inn, and after talking with the owners, Orgnar and Delphine, I made arrangements with what money I had managed to find or earn from selling some lesser quality gear to Lucan, and had a room of my own for the night. This brings me to the present, and I will now leave you, as I still have my prayers to perform before I get my rest. That is the backstory for Blessingir. I may try to continue making occasional journal entries to update the story as I progress through the gameplay, but ultimately what's going to happen is at the end of every day I'm going to try to either make donations and pray, or at the very least pray to RK, and during the course of my activities, I'm going to, any money that I do earn, I'm going to try to apply it to bettering the lives of others, and either healing the land or some towns, giving people places to live like orphans and things, or the people of Helgen. I'm going to try to be a naive, good deed doer kind of person who has this ultimate goal of trying to find this family heirloom that may or may not still exist either in Skyrim or somewhere else. And in so doing, I'm going to very likely be having my my character's personality grow, and it might become a more severe person, either on accident or because of roleplay reasons, whatever. But going into it, at least at first, I'm going to have the character be sort of an off-balance mix between proactive and reactionary. I want him to be very, very driven towards doing what he feels is the right thing based on the information he has. But I also want him to be fastidiously learning about everything he can, because his driving force, apart from trying to rid the world of the Imperials, is going to be trying to find this lost artifact. And the principle behind this is that's sort of the premise behind the book that I am writing. And I want to, with this, like I explained early on in this stream, I want to use this as an opportunity to explore how the character might react to some situations, to give me some more fuel for writing, because it is turning into what is likely to be a 3-novel trilogy, and I want to have some filler stuff. So I'm getting some ideas for how he might interact with things as time goes on. So I'm going to come back here to Skyrim, and I am going to make Skyrim visible on the stream again. are going to, well, we're going to quick save here. And we're going to get started with, hopefully, a successful beginning to the Blessingir Saga. Let's quit to main menu, save, yes. Level 115. That took a long time to get there. Also, hi raw veggie. Oh yeah, I remember you mentioning, commenting on the bee and tree breeding videos. Hi, welcome. I didn't want to interrupt my reading. I saw your message pop up. Hello. Let's see here. We have a new game. Game. Oh, and during dialogues and cutscenes, I'm going to try not to talk over it unless there's something that I need to make a note of. But I will try to be as silent as possible. Alright, we have a Breton. And the body is going to be, let's see here, let's get some presets. How do I want the Breton to look? That might work. Skin tone, not dark. Wait, let's make him slightly more muscular looking. His head, the complexion is... I want him to be mostly clean. No dirt color. No scars. He hasn't really been in any skirmishes. No war paint, no war paint color. That doesn't fit the story. Nose type, that's fine. Jaw. I mean, this is mostly okay. I mean, this is similar to how I envision him. Whatever that dark thing under his bottom lip is, though, I'm not thrilled with that. Let's see here. The eyes, those are fine. Hazel eyes, I guess. The brow. I did want the brow to be... Well, I mean, it says it's mostly forward, but that's not a huge difference. Okay. Brow width. Did I not select it? I didn't. Oh, that looks funny. Let's bring it in a little bit. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time customizing him. Mouth shape. Lip color, is that what's going on here? No, it's not. Maybe that's his hair. Maybe that's like some sort of soul patch. It is! Is there a clean cut version? Yes, there is. Oh, right. Hair color. Yeah, like, let's go slightly lighter. Red. There we go. And yeah. Short cropped hair. Yeah, that looks good. There we go. R. Finish and name your character. Blessingir the Third. Accept. Alright, lots of getting started. Lots of things automatically happening. I'm going to let them all happen. I'm going to talk to Mara
Approach,
here.
my child, and choose where your new life shall begin.
And this alternate start, live another life, has all kinds of wonderful gameplay options for people who want to just come up with a story for role-playing. But for this one, I specifically wanted to have the story match the vanilla start, so that there was...
Such is the strange and twisted hand of fate.
So that there was... I didn't mean to click. So that there was a reason for the character to have been in that situation. So now there is a reason. Alright. Winterhold restored has detected things. All kinds of stuff happening. All kinds of stuff. I don't have... Aha! Let's go ahead and equip that. Spells. I seem to remember light. And then... Ghastly wolves, undead, or ghostly wolves. So, I am torn. No, I'm thorn. Either nothing or ghostly wolves, and here's the reason why ghostly wolves. My actual Blessingir character, off of whom this concept is based, speaks with the dead and can interact with them. Ghostly wolves might be along those lines? So I hadn't considered this yet. I know what I'll do. I'll do nothing for that. And then destruction memories. This is probably going to be a nothing. Fire, freezing cold, electric shocks. Nothing. At least for right now, nothing. Illusion memories. Where I need to go. Inspiring confidence, causing dissension in enemy ranks. Well, he's lost. He's never been to Skyrim. He's lost. So I'm going to go with inspiring confidence. Courage added. And restoration memories. No. This. Healing my wounds or magical barriers. I think potentially the magical barriers might be the better one. Yes. Alright, so let's check out the... Well, we don't need to have these. Let's check out the spells. I have Courage. Target won't flee for 60 seconds and get some extra health and stamina. I don't suppose I can target myself with this, can I? Candlelight. Yes, candlelight. He wants to bring the light to the world. There's built campfire. Lesser ward. I mean, I can do the courage. I don't really know how to implement that just yet. Instincts. Interesting. Lesser ward. Yeah. So if I bring these up, I've got lesser ward, candlelight. I can do this. And I believe it follows me around. Yeah. One of the things about this character is he's going to not be shy. He's going to barge in, not sneak unless there's something that calls for sneaking. He's going to be using the light. Hopefully this will also help with that one Nightingale quest. And we've got lesser ward. He's going to want to learn magic because he wants to learn things. He wants to learn. He wants to read. So that's what he's going to be focusing on. No sword, no nothing. He has nothing but some very basic magic, and he wants to bring the light to the world and all that. So let's activate the bed and start with a level 1 vanilla start, give or take a little bit of fudging around. I think everything should be done by now with the mods pre-loading and all that kind of stuff. I haven't seen any messages in the top left. So I'm going to just let this intro happen. Unless I have something I want to say. Take an opportunity to get a drink. Here we go.
You are finally awake. You were trying to cross the border, right? Walked right into that Imperial ambush, same as us. And that thief over there.
Damn you Stormcloaks. Skyrim was fine until you came along. Empire was nice and lazy. If they hadn't been looking for you, could have stolen that horse and been halfway to Hammerfell. You there, you and me, we shouldn't be here. It's these Stormcloaks the Empire wants.
We're all brothers and sisters in binds now, thief.
Shut up back there.
What's wrong with him, huh?
Watch your tongue. You're speaking to Ulfric Stormcloak, the true High King.
Ulfric? The Jarl of Windhelm? You're the leader of the rebellion. But if they've captured you... Oh gods, where are they taking us?
I don't know where we're going, but Sovngarde awaits us.
No, this can't be happening. This isn't happening.
Hey, what village are you from, horse thief?
Why do you care?
A Nord's last thoughts should be of home.
Rorikstead. I'm from Rorikstead.
General Tullius, sir. The headsman is waiting.
Good. Let's get this over with.
Sure. Mara, Dibella, Kinnereth, Akatosh, Divines, please help me.
Look at him. General Tullius, the military governor. And it looks like the Thalmor are with him. Damn elves. I bet they had something to do with this. This is Helgen. I used to be sweet on a girl from here. Wonder if Elod is still making that mead with juniper berries mixed in. Funny. When I was a boy, Imperial walls and towers used to make me feel so safe.
Coming up, this little kid up here, Hemming,
Where are they going?
you'll find out that he survives.
Go inside.
Why? I want to watch the soldiers.
Inside the house. Now.
Yes, Papa. Get these prisoners out of the carts. Move it!
Why are we stopping?
Why do you think? End of the line. Let's go. Shouldn't keep the gods waiting for us.
No, wait! We're not rebels!
Face your death with some courage, thief.
You've got to tell them! We weren't with you! This is a mistake!
Step towards the block when we call your name. One at a time.
Empire loves their damn lists.
Oh, saving.
Ulfric Stormcloak, Jarl of Windhelm.
It has been an honor, Jarl Ulfric.
Ralof of Riverwood. Lokir of Rorikstead.
No! I'm not a rebel! You can't do this!
Halt!
You're not gonna kill me!
Archers! Anyone else feel like running?
Wait. You there. Step forward. Who are you? You from Daggerfall, Breton? Fleeing from some court intrigue? Captain, what should we do? He's not on the list.
Forget the list. He goes to the block.
By your orders, Captain. I'm sorry. We'll make sure your remains are returned to High Rock. Follow the captain, prisoner.
Ulfric Stormcloak. Some here in Helgen call you a hero, but a hero doesn't use a power like the voice to murder his king and usurp his throne. You started this war, plunged Skyrim into chaos, and now the Empire is going to put you down and restore the peace.
What was that?
It's nothing. Carry on.
Yes, General Tullius. Give them their last rites.
As we commend your souls to Aetherius, blessings of the 8 divines upon you.
For the love of Talos, shut up and let's get this over.
Learn our as you wish.
Come on! I haven't got all morning. My ancestors are smiling at me, Imperials, and you say the same.
You Imperial bastards!
Justice!
Death to the Stormcloaks!
As fearless in death as he was in life.
Next, the Breton!
There it is again. Did you hear that?
I said, next prisoner!
To the block, prisoner. Nice and easy.
Excuse me, this basket is full.
What in oblivion is that?
Sentries, what do you see?
It's in the clouds!
That thing? Could the legends be true?
Legends don't burn down villages.
We need to move, now! Up through the tower. Let's go! We just need to move some of these rocks out of the way.
First few times I played this, I never saw that it said Alduin speaks words.
See the inn on the other side. Jump through the roof and keep going.
Go! We'll follow it.
Can't take it. Here's that meat with juniper berries.
Hammond, you need to get over here. Now! That boy, you're doing great. Toro! Still alive, prisoner.
Escaping, Hadvar. You're not stopping us this time.
Fine, I hope that dragon takes you all to Sovereign Guard.
You, come on! Into the keep!
With me, prisoner. Let's go!
Alright.
We'll meet again in Sovngarde, brother. Looks like we're the only ones who made it. That thing was a dragon. No doubt. Just like the children's stories and the legends. The harbingers of the end times. We better get moving. Come here. Let me see if I can get those bindings off. There you go. You may as well take Gunnar's gear. He won't be needing it
It's a
anymore.
very veiny arm.
Get that armor on, and give that axe a few swings. I'm going to see if I can find some way out of here. Ah, this one's locked. Let's see about that gate.
Now, I've never done a melee character before.
No way to open this from our side.
I don't know how awful this is going to be.
It's the Imperials! Take cover!
Get this gate open.
Other than the test on the original.
To the enemy!
Maybe one of these Imperials.
Alright, let's see here. My sword, or my axe, I think, is comparable to the sword. Easily.
Let's see here.
Axe is 9, sword is 9. Sword weighs less. I want to either focus with axe or mace or hammer, like a warhammer or whatever. Let's see. This is obviously going to be better gear. Don't need to cast a shield if I have a shield, but ward is nice. I mean, this is heavy, but I think once you get high enough levels of armor, the armor you're wearing doesn't weigh anything, so that might not matter. Alright. So, that. Let's go ahead and favorite these for now so I don't accidentally lose them.
Here we are. Found the key. Let's see if it opens that door.
Those are favorited. Okay, good. Found the key.
That's it. Come on, let's get out of here before the dragon brings the whole tower down on our heads.
Okay, so you walk slow while you have the shield up. Alright. Sword and board. Well, sort of sword.
Damn, that dragon doesn't give up easy.
Grab everything important and let's move. Dragon's burning everything to the...
Won't take us alive!
A storeroom.
Oh, wasn't too
See
bad.
if you can find any...
Don't want anything we'll need there. Now I'm only doing the corpse looting right here at the beginning because it's part of the introduction to how to play, and it basically you need to. I will say that I want this character to sort of lean towards alchemy, maybe a little enchanting, but mostly alchemy. So potions are going to be important later. Oh, potions. Nice. 20 salt pile. Everyone needs a bucket and eggs. Oh, rabbits. Hello.
Done? Let's
Also,
get moving.
hello, MedTech.
Troll's blood. Hear that? Come on.
Let them do all the fighting.
Was Jarl Ulfric with you?
No. I haven't seen him since the dragon showed
I do
up.
want to try and get
Wait a second.
a bow. Oh, a mace. Mace is 13.
Looks like there's...
damage. Is it slower or the same speed? I think it's the same speed.
Thing in this cage. It's locked.
Might
See if
be
you can get
slower.
it open with.
Well, there's an arrow.
We might need that gold once we get out. Grab anything useful and let's go.
Lockpicks come from in here. Alright, here's an example of the unread book's glow. And there's also an asterisk, so I can identify from the outside, so maybe one of those mods is working better. But I feel my mind being enriched by this text. I don't know if that's actually working or not. It just says that. I'm not going to necessarily read all of this. I can flip through it. How big of a book is this? Oh my. Oh, that's the end. Okay. But I don't need to take it with me necessarily. Oh. The Book of the Dragonborn. You know, it'll probably show back up. Healing potion and lockpick. This is asking for lockpick. Is it really? No, it's not right top dead center. Spell tome sparks. Potion, gold. Now, eventually he's going to be a magic user, but for right now, he's not. Now, RP reasons. I don't know if I want to just go ahead and lockpick both of these to get more lockpicking skill, or if I want to just leave them be, because I have those lockpicks on me, and I don't necessarily need to lockpick, but there are some books here. Brief History of the Empire, I will eventually get another copy of that. Another Brief History of the Empire. I'm not getting skill ups for those books. Interesting. That's weird. If the book skill ups don't work, that's fine. I'm going to respect the dead, not search the corpses, even though I know that I can get some resources from them.
Come on, hurry up.
Oh, I thought it was spawning you. I was waiting for you to catch up.
Orders are to wait until General Tullius arrives.
I'm not waiting to be killed by a dragon. We need to fall back.
Yeah. I learned sparks. Not going to equip it though. Oh, that was nice. Oh, I bet he helped. Does he have an arrow? No, he does not. There we go. That is what I was looking for.
Show me.
Because it's hard to play this game without at least some sort of bow for some parts.
Takes care of that.
Let's go on ahead.
More
See
arrows. I
Way
should
is
get
clear.
past the introductory area.
I'll keep watch in case we'll
Let's see where this goes.
Now, I happen to know metagame. Oh. I should be sticking with him.
another way out.
Now I know metagame-wise that there's some coins back there, but that's not my objective. My objective isn't to be filthy rich with this character or have lots of gear or anything. It's just to get by. The gear that I am carrying is just to get started with that. stopped. Why did you stop?
That doesn't go anywhere.
See, like, there's some
Guess we
coins,
better try
but I
this
don't
way.
want to be greedy. I have a feeling that I can make enough. Why are you stopping? Feeling I can make enough just from quest rewards and end of dungeon chests. Oh well, that was interesting. What was that?
Too many eyes, you know?
So it was because I was pushing forward. Oh. Now I happen to know that these have some sort of potion-related thing about them, and they are not people, so I'm less concerned about them being dead.
Better to stick together down here.
For RP reasons. Because they were attacking.
Sneaking is overrated.
Why is it standing? Yeah, it's not coming. Ow, the floor bones hurt.
That looks like the way out. I knew we'd make it.
Where are you going? We're going to Skyrim, sir.
Wait!
Religion. RK. Alright, so what does RK have? Once a mortal shopkeeper, the Lord of Life and God of Funerals was granted divinity by Mara. See? Mortal shopkeeper. If a mortal can become a divine, then any other mortal can become a divine. This is what Talos banning is so confusing to the inhabitants. That's the reason. Follower. If you're just a follower, you can regenerate health when weakened. Can perform RK's rites on the dead. Oh, I forgot about that. I don't remember what RK's rites are. Slay the undead and their summoners. Perform RK's rites. Never openly break the laws of Skyrim. Never summon the undead or become one of them. I don't know if being a werewolf counts as undead. I don't think it does. I'll have to look that up. So to pray, magic, and make that on the favorites. And let's go ahead and unequip stuff.
There he goes.
And
looks like
pray.
he's gone for good this time.
Favor with arcade 20%.
No way to know if anyone else made it out alive. But this place is going to be swarming with Imperials soon enough. We better clear out of here. My sister, Gerder, runs the mill in Riverwood, just up the road. I'm sure she'd help you out. It's probably best if we split up. Good luck. I wouldn't have made it without your help today.
Caps lock is the when I was wanting turns sprinting into walking. Or
you know, you should go to Windhelm and join the fight to free Skyrim.
Toggles.
You've seen the true face of the Empire here today. If anyone will know what the coming of the dragon means, it's over.
See, everything looks so much better with this assortment of visualizations. I don't have an E and B, but I have textures and things, and I know that it's going to be grainy on this stream, and I'm sorry. I probably don't have the best internet for this.
See that ruin up there? Bleak Falls Barrow. I never understood how my sister could stand living in the shadow of that place. I guess you get used to it.
Are you coming to... Oh, you're just walking that way. Okay. Go on, sir. Go on. We're here. Are you not... Oh, are you waiting for me? Now, I don't remember which one of these is going to be more beneficial for this playstyle. Probably the fighter, not the thief.
These are the
Or the warrior. Gain additional experience in all warrior skills. It may only have one... Okay. Inflict more damage with power attacks and long-ranged shots.
in stones.
Cast more effective spells and scrolls. Gain additional experience in all mage skills. Nah, that's...
3 of the 13 ancient standing stones that dot
I don't think
Skyrim's
this is the one that I want to stick with long term. What's going on down there? Oh, they're fighting mud crabs or something.
Remember, this isn't Stormcloak territory. If we're ahead of the news from Helgen, we should be fine. As long as we don't do anything stupid. If we run into any Imperials, just let me do the talking, alright? At least not right now. Not until I have a good reason to want to try messing with leather. I'm glad you decided to come with me. We're almost to Riverwood.
Oh dear. Lot more signs.
Looks like nobody here knows what happened yet. Come on. Gerda's probably working as a lumber.
What? What is it now, Mother?
It was as big as the mountain and black as night. It flew right over the barrel.
Yo, what have you? Dragons now, is it?
Random encounter.
If you keep on like this, everyone in town will think you're crazy. And I've got better things to do.
No
more.
I'll
kill you with my bare hands.
You'll see. It wasn't
He caught him
no more.
with his wife.
Stop right there, you filth! I'll kill you with my bare hands!
That is hilarious.
Feindal thinks he can woo Camilla Valerius away from me.
Sneaky bastard! How dare you!
I cannot best you.
Gerda.
Let's just go ahead and do this.
Mercy, it's good to see you. But is it safe for you to be here?
Gerda.
We heard that Ulfric had been captured.
Gerda, I'm fine. At least now I am.
Are you hurt? What's happened? And who's this? One of your comrades?
Not the comrade yet. Friend. I owe
Oh.
him my life.
Oh. No.
Is there somewhere we can talk? There's a return on the news from Helga that used the Imperials.
That fox is part of one of the mods. You get this player home, leaf rest. Need to have a key.
What is it, woman? Sven drunk on the job again?
Pod, just come here.
And
Rayloff, what are you doing here?
Moy, as well as this
I'll be
rabbit.
right down.
And I think a couple other things are pets that you get to have that live there. I don't know. Where are you going?
Uncle Rayloff, can I see your axe? How many Imperials have you killed? Do you really know Ulfric's Stormcloak?
Hush, Frodnar. This is no time for your games. Go and watch the South Road. Come find us if you see any Imperial soldiers coming.
Aw, Mama. I want to stay and talk with Uncle Rayloff.
Look at you. Almost a grown man.
That's
Won't be
another
long
pet.
before you'll be joining the fight yourself.
That's right. Don't worry, Uncle Rayloff. I won't let those soldiers sneak up on you.
Yeah, the texture on the clothing, everything else, so much nicer. I mean, there's some funny things going on, like this grass. But overall, looks okay.
Now, Rayloff, what's going on? You two look pretty well done in. I can't remember when I last slept. Where to start? Well, the news you heard about Ulfric was true. The Imperials ambushed us outside Darkwater Crossing. Like they knew exactly where we'd be. That was 2 days ago now. We stopped in Helgen this morning, and I thought it was all over. Had us lined up to the headsman's block and ready to start chopping.
The cowards.
They wouldn't dare give Ulfric a fair trial. Treason for fighting for your own people. All of Skyrim would have seen the truth then. But then, out of nowhere, a dragon attacked.
You don't mean a real, live...
I can hardly believe it myself. And I was there. As strange as it sounds, we'd be dead if not for that dragon. In the confusion, we managed to slip away. Are we really the first to make it to Riverwood?
Nobody else has come up the South Road today, as far as I know.
Good. Maybe we can lay up for a while. I hate to put your family in danger, Gerda, but...
Nonsense. You and your friend are welcome to stay here as long as you need to. Let me worry about the Imperials. Any friend of Rayloff's is a friend of mine. Here's the key to the house. Stay as long as you like. If there is anything else you need, just let me know.
However, I suspect, based on my gameplay, I'm probably going to need some potions. But I could take all that, not this character.
There is something you could do for me. For all of us here. The Jarl needs to know if there's a dragon on the loose. Riverwood is defenseless. We need to get word to Jarl Balgruuf in Whiterun to send whatever troops he can. If you'll do that for me, I'll be in your debt.
Thanks, sister. I knew we could count on you.
I ought to get back to work before I'm missed, but did anyone else escape? Did Ulfric?
Don't worry. I'm sure he made it out. It'll take more than a dragon to stop Ulfric's Stormcloak. I'll let them into the house and, you know, show them where everything is.
Help them drink up our mead, you mean? Good luck, brother. I'll see you later.
Don't worry about me. I know how to lay low.
I'm glad to help any way I can.
So you saw a dragon, did you?
Oh, I
Tell
thought
me,
you were going to do a
what
shop.
was it like? As big as a house? well, I'll be. That'd be a sight to see. Not that I actually want to see one, understand. I hope that dragon stays far away from here.
So you're probably not going to be a vendor until you're back at the... Ah! That's still going on. There we go, I'll just walk.
Stop right there, you filth! I'll kill you with my bare hands!
Get stuck on a chicken? Alright. Alright, let's just make sure.
Here for work? I've got enough to worry about, taking care of my family. I don't concern myself with such matters.
Okay, so nothing important here.
I told you my sister would help us out. Damn right. You don't have to be a Nord to fight for Skyrim's freedom. You should come to Windhelm with me and join the fight to free Skyrim. You've seen the true face of the Empire here today.
And before...
If anyone will know what the coming of the dragon means, it's Ulfric. I hope so. Skyrim needs people like you to fight for her freedom. Come on, you better get moving. I hope to see you in Windhelm. Good luck. Just head north. Can't miss it. It's the capital of Whiterun Hold. Jarl Balgruuf still hasn't declared for one side or the other. So at least you won't run into any Imperials along the way. Ulfric's capital is Windhelm, northeast of here. You'll want to talk to Galmar Stonefist, Ulfric's right-hand man. He handles the new recruits. I'll be sure to put in a good word if I get to Windhelm ahead of you. What? Oh, hardly. I don't think even Ulfric could pull a dragon out of his pocket. Lucky for us it attacked when it did, eh? I wasn't looking forward to getting a shave from the Imperial headsman. Seriously? You don't know? That was Ulfric Stormcloak himself. Right. The leader of our fight against the Empire. I forget that most people don't know what he looks like, except for those Imperial wanted posters. I was assigned to Ulfric's guard. We were on our way to Darkwater Crossing, in the south of Eastmarch. The Imperials were waiting for us. As pretty an ambush as I ever saw. We were outnumbered 5 to 1 at least. Ulfric ordered us to stop fighting. Didn't want us all to die for nothing, I guess. I thought they were taking us south to Cyrodiil. Parade us in front of the Emperor. But then, we stopped in Helgen. And you know the rest.
I don't think I need to ask anything else. Okay.
I'm going to rest up here a while before heading to Windhelm. Be careful.
I do want to see it. Aha, book. Okay, so I am getting levels from the books. Okay, audiobooks. Now, I'm not going to do that with this one, but for some of the longer walks, I will probably have the books play, so The silence is filled. Petty soul gem, no. A few more here. See, this is an important book to keep track of because this is the solution to a puzzle. You have to remember the eagle, the snake, the whale, and the snake. So eagle, snake, whale, snake. I think it's the combination. I believe the book isn't the correct puzzle, but that's just foreknowledge. Alright.
Need something?
Why so blue?
What do you need?
Okay, you've got nothing. Nothing to say. All of the stuff in my sack is weighing me down. Let's... Yeah, it's a better flag. Or was there a flag in the vanilla game? I don't remember.
Well, one of us has to do something.
Oh no, did the script break? Oh, the script broke.
Well, I don't know what you overheard, but the Riverwood Trader is still open. Feel free to shop. Yeah, we did have a bit of a break-in, but we still have plenty to sell. Robbers were only after one thing. An ornament, solid gold in the shape of a dragon's claw. You could? I've got some coin coming in from my last shipment. It's yours if you bring my claw back. Now, if you're going to get those thieves, you should head to Bleak Falls Barrow, northwest of town.
So this is your plan, Lucan?
Yes. So now you don't have to go, do you?
Oh, really? Well, I think your new helper here needs a guide.
No, By the 8, fine. But only to the edge of town.
No books. I wouldn't be back there anyway. Never mind.
The sooner you... Trinkets, odds and ends, that sort of thing.
So I need to get rid of some excess garbage. I don't think I'll need a sword over the mace. In fact, executive decision, no sword. I am going to hold on to these two. They don't weigh much anyway. And is there anything in here? I'm keeping the bucket just because reasons.
I think I have a few old spell books laying about. If you want more, you'll have to go to the College of Winterhold.
Don't want to deal with reading books right now. Or buying books to read, rather. I don't know, I'm collecting things yet.
We have to go through town and across the bridge to get to Bleak Falls Barrow. You can see it from here, though. The mountain just over the buildings. Those thieves must be mad hiding out there. Those old crypts are filled with nothing but traps, trolls, and who knows what else.
One of the biggest crimes in video games is escorts, where they walk faster than you walk but slower than you run.
I wonder why they only stole Lucan's golden claw. I mean, we have plenty of things in the shop that are worth just as much coin. Lucan found the claw about a year after he opened the store. He never quite explained where he got it. He's a tricky one.
This reminds me of a scene from godfather.
This is the bridge out of town. The path up the mountain to the northwest leads to Bleak Falls Barrow. I guess I should get back to my brother. He'll throw a fit if I take too long.
That is the town
Such
of
a child.
Ebenvale right there.
Mara bless you. Well, it's a winding road up the mountain just ahead. You'll know you're in the right place once you spot the old watchtower. Once you get to the tower, head north. Bleak Falls Barrow should be just around the corner further up. Good luck. Lucan and I will be waiting for you back in the shop.
So I'm going to, in keeping with the story, I'm going to check the message boards. Okay, well. Riverwood, are you looking to buy quality? Where is Lucan's dry goods? That was Riverwood Trader. Visit the Dragonborn Gallery. Love all the unique treasures you've found and hate that they just sit in barrels in your home. Bring them to the capital city and display them for everyone else to enjoy. To display your prowess as an adventurer and a collector. I wonder if maybe they might have the artifact known as Blessingir. The meeting point. I love that I can read straight from here. Down there. I don't think that this has any bearing on something you'll find later. More hunting. What is more hunting? No. Okay. Impossible is only one. Oh, I didn't want to take it. I hit shift. Okay. Do not go to Bash Skull Retreat. So it looks like my speech is going up with the things I'm reading. Or that was just a skill from reading this one. Okay. Bleak Falls Barrow. These broken bits. Some fled up there. Yeah, the missives give little stories sometimes. Akbar, blacksmith in the town of Riverwood. Yada yada. Alright, what's this thing I picked up? And unfortunately I don't think I can... Oh, I can. No, I can't put it back. Never mind. And the notice board. Don't want to kill the bandit later. Okay, so just simply by reading them. Book collecting. Now this might be worth... I will take the book collecting. I don't want to collect these. I could collect Nightshade because I am interested in alchemy. This character is. Don't want to do mail delivery. Dormer technology, no. Looking for armor. It's not missing armor, but I think because I read this I need to accept it. Okay. Bounty, bounty. Have you ever visited Golden Rock? Rescue someone. Someone needs rescuing. Now that sounds like something that my character would be interested in trying to do. Retrieves missing artifact. That is what my character would want. Seeking treasure hunters. Embodied adventures seek out and recover lost artifacts of historical relevance for the soon-to-be reopened museum in Solitude. Anyone interested should apply in person. All deliveries of authentic artifacts will be well compensated. That sounds wonderful. Slay and slay. My character isn't wanting to do that just yet.
What are you staring at?
Oh, there's a bar brawl going on. Oh no, wait, no, there isn't. I just bumped into him.
Orgnar, are you listening?
Hard not to.
The ale is going bad. We need to get a new batch.
Book.
Did you hear me?
Yep, ale's going bad.
I guess you don't have potatoes in your ears after all. Just make sure we get a fresh batch in soon.
Come on in. Just stoke the fire. Take a seat and get the cold out.
Do I talk to you?
We got rooms and food. Drink, too. I cook. Ain't much else to tell. There have been whispers. A boy up in Windhelm, name of Aventus Aretino, been trying to contact the Dark Brotherhood. Have you seen that shrine of Azura?
Kind of
they say the Dark Elves built it after they fled from Morrowind. Sight to see.
That sounds neat. What else?
Nobody trusts those mages way up north in their college. Gods only know what they do up there. We've got something of a love triangle here in Riverwood. Faendal and Sven, both vying for Camilla's affections.
Oh, Camilla from the Riverwood Trader. Let's see what
Take a
you've got
look.
for sale. Shouldn't be anything I need. No. And I don't really want to be buying things right now. It's not like I have much money. So in keeping with the storyline, I think
I'm the innkeeper.
Yeah.
It's my business to keep track of strangers.
Room for 10 gold. Well, let's go ahead and
Sure
rent the
thing.
room.
It's yours for a day.
And rumors?
Word is Ulfric Stormcloak escaped from the Imperials. War is only going to get worse now.
And oh, rumors is already grayed out. Show me the room. I don't want to.
We don't get a lot of travelers here in Riverwood. The war keeps most folks away these days.
It did. Did you forget to take me to the...
Most of my customers are locals, come here to relax. Are you joking? You just rented a room from me.
Which one is it? Ah! This one. Hey, there's a book. Alright. Empty chest. So now... pray to RK and keep with the journal entry that I had. So let's see here. Let's look around this room. Yeah, everything looks so much nicer with this. Anyway, that is going to be the end of the 17th of Last Seed. If I sleep through the night, it will be day number 2. So this is where I'm going to wrap up this stream because it's been a 3-hour stream due to the introduction of the mods and the backstory and all that. So I hope that this is going to turn out okay. I will see when I go to add it to the YouTube. I don't know if I'm going to need to record this concurrently on my own end or what's going to need to happen, but this has been the test. So thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, either of you, any of you, subscribe. And also, I have 2 books published. Go check them out. And if you're interested, I have a Patreon where you can gain access to not only my Discord, but also the sneak previews of things that are building on the Refuge, the Minecraft server, as well as people above a certain level can also join the Refuge Minecraft server. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you very much for watching. I will talk to you later.